for baseball in downtown Cincinnati. The Reds in their home white, the Cubs in their road gray pants and their blue uniforms. And let's take a look at Lou Piniella's lineup tonight. Coach K. Fukudome in center field. Aaron Miles activated on the disabled list today before the game. He's at short with Derek Lee at first. Aramis Ramirez down at third. Milton Bradley in right with Alfonso Soriano in left. A latter third of Mike Fontenot, Coy Hill, and Rich Harden. Justin Lear was having an outstanding year after coming over from the Phillies organization down at AAA in Louisville. See his career numbers. Of course, he pitched out of the bullpen over a couple of seasons, but is now a starting pitcher in this Reds rotation. And for how long, I'm not sure anybody knows. But you know, Chris, one thing he did do his last start, well, two things. A, he was wild. He walked 6, one of them intentionally, in 5 innings. But he found a way to limit the damage. He only gave up 3 runs in the 5 innings.
Well, he's older now too, Tom, because he celebrated his 32nd birthday just a couple of days ago. So now that he's a mature 32 years old, maybe he'll be around the strike zone a little bit more. Young man that was drafted originally from West Covina High School. He was drafted by the Tigers once. Out of UC Santa Barbara, he was drafted by the Angels. Did not sign in either of those attempts, and finally he did sign in his senior year out of the University of Southern California, and here he is in the big leagues getting his second major league start. The key to Justin Lear is getting a first pitch in for a strike and then being able to change speeds. He doesn't have the kind of stuff that he works the ball in and out all that effectively. He has to do that, yes, but it's mainly adding and subtracting the speed of the fastball versus the speed of the breaking ball, and that's where he gets his outs.
Here we go. Coach K. Fukudome stepping in, a .273 batter, 8 home runs and 37 runs batted in. Of course, he led off the game here last night with a home run. Lear okays a sign with Ryan Hannigan, delivers ball 1 high, and this game is underway. In fact, Fukudome has reached base leading off the game in each of the first 2 games. A walk in game 1 before the home run last night. The Cubs well aware that the St. Louis Cardinals, who won in extra innings thanks to the mighty Albert Pujols last night, were shut out today by the New York Mets and Nelson Figueroa 9-0. So the Cubs have a chance to go into first place all by themselves. Houston already lost earlier today at San Francisco, or against the Giants in Houston, I beg your pardon. And Milwaukee will wrap up its series with the Dodgers later on tonight. Boy, how about that Prince Fielder story last night? 2-1 to Fukudome, swung on and missed. The Dodgers scored 17 runs last night. In the 7th inning, Manny Ramirez got drilled by a pitch. In the 9th inning, Prince Fielder was drilled by a pitch from Guillermo Mota. And through 2 different ways tried to get into the Dodger clubhouse to get his piece of Guillermo Mota. 2-2 pitch. Check swing, and he went around, and that's strike 3. A good way to get it started for Justin Lear. The Reds defensively presented by Ford. Nixon left, Tavares in center, and Chris, there's Vladimir Valentin. Hit the ball very hard last night. You thought he would. Scott Rowland back at third. Alex Gonzalez at short. Brandon Phillips and Joey Votto on the right side with a battery of Lear and Ryan Hannigan. Well, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head last night with Mr. Valentin.
Well, I've never seen him play before, Tom. You know, all I can tell you is that the reports that we've heard from him, and Ken Griffey Jr. himself made a call to somebody in the Reds clubhouse and said, hey, watch out for this guy's power to right center field. When he stays behind it, he's got all sorts of power going that way towards the river.
Into foul territory, easy for Rowland, and Aaron Miles his first at bat off the disabled list. A foul out to Rowland, 2 away.
Well, what a difference for Justin Lear. Getting a strikeout out of the first batter that he faces. More strikeouts than he had in his entire start the last time he went out against the Colorado Rockies. A nice easy at bat now, and that's what you're looking for when you're a starting pitcher, just to try to get your rhythm going a little bit, because every batter that he gets out gives him confidence in his stuff, and for a contact pitcher like him, that is so very important, to be able to stay confident and aggressive.
Derek Lee, the Cub first baseman. He looked at a fastball, I guess outside. Ball one. Todd Tishnor behind the plate. Bill Hahn at first. Paul Emmel at second. Gary Darling down at third. And it's low and away. 2-0 to Derek Lee. 22 home runs. 72 runs batted in for the man they just call D. Lee. He's been D. Lee against the Reds for the majority of his career, and that would mean dead Lee. Swung on and fouled out of play. Lee hitting .419 against the Reds this season. 13 hits and 31 at bats, with 2 homers and 8 runs batted in. And you got to remember, the first 2 series the Reds played the Cubs, Lee couldn't hit anybody. 2-2.
Very important pitch right there as far as location for Justin Lear tonight. If Todd Tishnor behind the plate starts calling that low pitch down around the knees, and that should be a strike right at the hollow of the knees. Well, that's a huge advantage for a sinker ball pitcher like Lear.
Struck him out, and what a very impressive inning for Justin Lear. 1-2-3 with a couple of strikeouts. Here come the Reds. As Willie Taveras in center field leading off. Alex Gonzalez at short. Joey Votto at first. Brandon Phillips a second baseman, and Scott Rowland back in there at third. He'll bat fifth. Vladimir Valentin is in right field batting sixth. Lance Dix in left field batting seventh. Hitting eighth, the catcher Ryan Hannigan and Justin Lear on the mound. Rich Harden, a 7-6 record, an ERA at 4.5, makes his 19th start of the year.
Well, he's had some pretty good starts over his last 4 or 5 times out to the mound too. 3 of the last 4 times he's held the opposition to 1 run. The other game 2 runs. So he is on top of his game right now as Rich Harden.
And up there swinging at a fastball about chin high is Taveras to lead off the game, and he catches a break when the trio of Bradley, Fontenot, and Lee were unable to get to the baseball.
Well, one thing we've noticed since Willie Taveras has been here, he's a guy that is a leadoff hitter and not necessarily a leadoff walker. He doesn't like to take a lot of walks. We don't see him work the count all that many times. And you know, when you go up and you hack at the first pitch that's out of the strike zone, it may not be the best way to get on base as a leadoff hitter. And he has struggled in that department this year. On base percentage right now stands at .277.
You may remember 2 starts ago, Harden was working against the Reds at Wrigley Field, and in that game he just overwhelmed the Reds, allowed 1 hit, 1 run, struck out 8 in the game, and a 5-2 win. But we documented all the problems this season Harden is having pitching in Chicago as opposed to everywhere else. On the road, his record is 4-1 with an ERA of barely over 2. He has been lit up at Wrigley Field by and large every start. The Reds game, one of the few exceptions. Derek Lee on the pop-up, and Tavares retired 1 away. Here's how the Cubs stack them up on defense, presented by Ford. Fugadome flanked by Soriano and Bradley. Ramirez, Miles, Fontenot, and Lee along the infield. And again, Coy Hill starting his 26th consecutive game behind the plate for Lou Piniella's team. Now Alex Gonzalez, he looks at a strike. Alex, of course, did not come up until the 8th inning in game 1. He did not start that game. It was part of a double switch. When Aaron Harang was lifted from the ball game, he had a home run in the 8th inning and knocked in a run in a 12-pitch at bat in the 9th inning against Carlos Marmol. Gonzalez was in the lineup last night and went 0 for 4. Behind here, 0-2 to Harden.
And really, with the lineup configuration the Reds have right now, Dusty Baker's looking for somebody to be in the number 2 spot. And I'm not so sure he has a really good number 2 hitter on this ball club right now. You might think, hey, Ryan Hanigan, based on his on-base percentage and the fact that he battles a lot. But the fact is that every time it seems like that Dusty Baker gives Hanigan a shot to move up in the lineup a little bit, he doesn't hit nearly as well as he does down the 8th spot. So they leave him down there, so that part of it's not broken. And I think that in the meantime, you're just looking, if you're Dusty Baker, for a way to kickstart the top of this lineup.
Now Joey Votto. 333 batters, 17 home runs, and 53 runs batted in. Votto 1 for 4 last night, knocked in a run late in the ball game. In fact, that RBI came in the 8th inning. Reds got a 2-run home run in the 9th from Vladimir Valentin in a 6-3 loss. 1-2 to Votto. Harden, a Canadian, and you know that Joey Votto hails from Toronto. A 1-2-3 opening inning for Harden, and like Lear, a couple of strikeouts. For serious injuries. Earlier today, Micah Owings threw a simulated game, threw 75 pitches. We had a chance to talk to him after that was wrapped up. He felt very good, very strong. He will be making a rehab start, we believe, over the weekend at Louisville. And hopefully, Chris, that means he's back soon. Of course, they always have to find out how he's doing tomorrow.
Yeah, the bounce back day is what they call that, Tom. And if your arm feels good after you've pitched, then you throw a side session, then you go down and throw a rehab start. You hope he's all right, because I'll tell you what, his last time out, it was against Chicago. He tried to gut it out, but you knew there was something wrong. He was just so when he was missing a strike zone, he was missing by 4 feet.
Aramis Ramirez leads off the Chicago's second inning. And Justin Lear, who mowed down the side in order in the first, is quickly ahead 0-2. Lear throwing a lot more strikes tonight than he did his first red start. He had to be very nervous. There's a fly ball to Taveras, one away. You could tell Mike Owings was very, very happy that the arm felt good after throwing that simulated game today. I mean, you always got to get a little scared, Chris. I don't care who you are, right?
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? I mean, if it doesn't respond after a week or so, I mean, they put you on some anti-inflammatories, and you've ever been out there and you've taken a bunch of Advil over a period of time, and if it helps you, you feel great, you go right back to doing what you used to do. But if it doesn't help you, you know right then and there you've got a problem that is probably a little more severe than what you first thought. And when you respond like the way he has, then I'm sure that it's a big sigh of relief and just a weight off your shoulders, no pun intended, that he'll be back on his road to recovery and throwing that ball right.
I'm going to need a lot of Advil tomorrow.
Really?
3 days in a row with you now in the booth.
No, you would need Excedrin for that. I don't think you get enough exercise.
No, the whole body hurts.
It's going to hurt when I throw you out of the booth.
2-1 now, 3-1 to Milton Bradley.
Once you've got 4 firemen with blankets down there.
3-1 to Bradley.
Oh, I'm kidding you, partner.
There's ball 4. Well, now the game is underway. Order one of La Rosa's game time deals. You call 347-1111, or you can order online at larosas.com. Real flavor, real family recipes, and real value from La Rosa. We got to get a big old zob here in the booth, Jesse. Alfonso Soriano, the batter, and it's in there, a strike. Soriano, a .249 batter with 19 home runs and 48 runs batted in. Chris, when you were up a zob, what do you get put on there?
I like tomatoes on it, actually, and banana peppers.
Nice.
Kids like pepperoni, and they usually win out.
Oh, yeah. Well, that looked like a pretty good pitch right there. It's called a ball. 1-1. Man,
well, I'll say.
Bradley, 1 stolen base in 3 attempts for the entire year. This one popped up in a shallow right. Valentine coming in to get it. He got a nice jump on a couple of balls out in left field where he was playing in the game here last night. And tonight moves over to right.
Well, tonight he's taking the place of Johnny Gomes in right field. Gomes normally a guy that's beginning everyday playing time because he was swinging a hot bat, but the way that Valentine hit the ball last night, Tom, I think that Dusty Baker's simply trying to go with the most recent hottest hand. He had 3 bullets last night, including that opposite field home run.
And really, the way this Reds team and the way the offense has been going for the better part of a month, month and a half, any hot hand that you can play on any given day, you're going to play that hand. Boy, it has been a very, very difficult month and a half for the Cincinnati Reds, to say the least. And especially here over the last couple of weeks. They've lost 14 of their last 15 games, including 8 in a row. 1-1 to Mike Fontenot with 1 on and 2 men out. It's their longest losing streak overall since an 8-game skid back in 2005. All 8 losses obviously have come here at home. That ties the Great American Ballpark record. They haven't lost more than 8 consecutive home games since 2001. And they have not lost more than 8 straight games overall. You have to go all the way back to 1998. The last time the Reds had an overall losing streak of longer than 8 games. That was an 11-game losing streak in the middle of June of 1998. Jay Bruce, by the way, will be joining us from the Reds dugout a little bit later on. Find out how he's coming along from the broken wrist. Looking forward to visiting with Jay Bruce. We appreciate him taking the time to join us. That'll be in the top of the 3rd inning tonight. Our producer Christian Roberts all over that story yesterday. That one tagged down the right field line, but bending foul. Two and two on Fontenot with 2 outs, and Bradley still over there at first base. There's a rocking. What a play made by Votto. Had to reach across his body. Take a look at this. Great reaction time by the Reds first baseman. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. By JTM Food Family Fun, JTM. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Jeep, have a little fun out there. Jeep. Ah, yes. Coming over from the Commonwealth. You think you've gone to heaven, landing on the Ohio side and from the Great American Ballpark. Ball one down low to Brandon Phillips. $16 home runs, 69 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Scott Rowland and then Vladimir Valentin. Well, what a difference just the look of the Reds lineup when you have Rowland in there. That 3-4-5 combination of Votto, Phillips, and Rowland, it certainly adds some credibility to a Reds lineup that's missing so many parts from when the season began. I mean, you'd have Ramon Hernandez in this lineup, probably down there in the 7 hole somewhere.
I mean, he made a big difference. He was such a solid hitter, and is a solid hitter. You know, not from a batting average standpoint, but he's a battler. He had so many key base hits to right field, really battled the pitchers hard.
That's a nice play by Ramirez, and his throw is not in time.
I don't think that he would have been in time even if he had not thrown it in the dirt right there. He kind of caught it on his heels, was backing up when he picked it because the ball short hopped him. He had to go back on him right there, and he didn't put a lot on it. And Brandon Phillips boot scooting it down the line and hustling all the way, beats it out. That's got to be a base hit.
It is. And by no means do you make excuses for this Reds team, because a lot of guys you were counting on to have good years were not having good years. But I mean, when you're starting to talk about beginning in the number 3 hole and being able to add in now that Rowland's here, and there's one to left center field, very well hit, back to the wall, home run. Scotty Rowland is first as a Cincinnati Red. His first hit is a Red, his first homer is a Red, his first 2 RBIs is a Red. And a 2-0 lead here in the second inning.
But it seems like it's been a long time since that dugout has had a lead. And Scott Rowland gives it to him right there after Brandon Phillips legs at an infield hit. Rowland hits the first pitch, a high fastball into the stands to put him up 2-0. You know, the scouting report evidently against Rich Harden is you better go up there and start hacking early, because he likes to start guys off with fastballs and then later in the count go to his slider and his splitter. And we've seen a lot of Reds up there wheeling that lumber early in the count. Rowland was ready for it.
Vladimir Valentin took a vicious hack at a fastball right down the middle and fouled it back. Hard hit ball, and it's into left field. You know, Chris, I keep getting back to it, but you know, having not seen Valentin play, I mean, just your perception of watching this guy during batting practice and what he was doing during BP, and you made the comment a couple of days ago, you know, you give this guy 4, 8, 12, 16 at bats, he might do some damage.
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I can go by what the scouts say because I've never seen him play in games before. But he hit a hard shot of a ball down to Aramis Ramirez last night and got picked on. At that time, he's able to slip it under his glove. So the Reds have been able to put together a little something here against Rich Harden, something that they did not even come close to doing his last time out up in Chicago.
Now Lance Nicks. So Justin Lear given a 2-0 lead. How about Rowland after getting hit in the head on Sunday, misses games on Monday and Tuesday, and his very first at bat back in the lineup tonight.
Made him angry.
It did. 0-2 on Nicks. Struck him out on 3 pitches. 1 away in the inning. Talked about Justin Lear. We asked him his game plan in his second start as a Red against East Covington.
I think that be more aggressive in the zone. In some ways, I think the Cubs have a little bit more free swinging lineup, but they play some situational hitting, and I think the only thing I'll do differently, hopefully, is attack the zone with all my pitches. Mix my speeds in the zone and be a little more consistent. That way, I wouldn't rack up a huge pitch count so quickly and get deeper into the game. Would be nice.
Our Geico quote of the game. From Red starter Justin Lear. He's off to a good start tonight. Only 1 base runner through the first 2 innings. That was a walk in the second inning to Milton Bradley. He's already struck out 3, as Chris pointed out. He did not strike out a single Colorado Rockies batter in his first start over the weekend. Here's Ryan Hannigan ahead 1-0. And I beg your pardon, I said that Justin Lear had 3 strikeouts. Make that 2 strikeouts. Having a hard time keeping score here tonight.
In this ball game?
Some days you just don't understand why. I thought he struck out Aramis Ramirez to begin the second inning, and I'm being told that Ramirez flied out to center field. What do you have?
I have Ramirez is flying out the center field. I thought we were talking about Rich Harden.
See, you're having the same kind of night. After you were getting ready to beat me up, you were getting ready to take a shot.
Harden's got 3. Lear's got 2.
And I said he had 3, and he has 2.
Now we're all set. The key is to get it right.
That's right. 2 and 1 to Hannigan. What a play by Hill. It's a good thing Valentine didn't make another step or 2 away from the bag. That is an outstanding play by him.
It really is, because it's a tough pitch to catch. It's one of those splitters that he throws, and nothing's got more of a life of its own than a split finger that comes down in the dirt. It's going to bounce and go every which way. Got to figure Corey Hill has to be getting just worn out.
They had a chance to be around him for a year when the Reds and Dodgers made a big trade, or the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers made a big trade a number of years ago. Ryan Hannigan takes ball 4. Sean Green, you remember the outfielder from the Dodgers, came over to Arizona, and Coy Hill was involved in that trade. And the Diamondbacks were very excited about Coy Hill. He had put up good numbers in the minor leagues offensively, and he wasn't with the team for more than a couple of weeks. And in a home plate collision, he broke his ankle. And when he came back, for whatever reason, he has just not been the same guy from an offensive standpoint. He's a hard-working kid, tough guy. And obviously he's showing you he likes to play the game. Because without Giovanni Soto, he is their only natural catcher on this entire roster. Lear bunts it to Harden. He's going to go to third, and a bad decision there. This will bring in a run, so the speed of Valentine able to go hard on the butt, forcing a poor throw by Harden, and the Reds lead 3-0. Everybody else advances a base.
Trying to make something out of nothing is Rich Harden right here. This ball comes back to him, and he figures it's a forced play at third base, but you make your mind up before you field it. And he's got to have a little bit of a clue. That ball has to come back to him very sharply. And I think he looked up, saw the runner, and rushed his throw. And because he rushed his throw, he throws it right by third base, not even close to Aramis Ramirez. Down the left field line, the Reds will score another run. and move everybody up into scoring position. Lou Piniella's got to be wondering what the heck is going on here.
Harden, one of the great enigmas in all of baseball. I mean, we brought it up when we saw this team in Chicago that for about a 3-year run, voted on by players in the American League, he graded out as having the second best stuff in the American League. But one, he's had a lot of injuries. You really can't count on him to start more than 23, 24 games tops in a year. Now he'll go by that this year, it looks like.
You know, Tom, it's interesting that he's voted like that because, it's one thing to have players say he's got great stuff, but it's another thing to have the numbers to back it up. Well, I'm going to explain this stat to you because it is very rare and very unusual as what Rich Harden has been able to do in his short major league career. The number of times that a batter swings and misses, not a foul ball, not a foul tip, compared to how many that are called for strikes. And this is the most since 1990. Pedro Martinez in his great year in '97 did that 79 times more than called strikes. That's a very, very rare feat. Juan Guzman back in the early 90s did it 41 times, and then Rich Harden did it 40 times last year, and he's on a pace again this year to do it. In fact, if you're looking since the year 2000, it has been done only 3 times in Major League Baseball since 2000. And every time that has been done by a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball, it's been done by Rich Harden. Not Randy Johnson. Not Tim Lincecum. Not anybody else who you think who you put up there with the great stuff of pitchers nowadays, but Rich Harden. So if you go down swinging against this guy, join the club because there's a lot of people in it.
Well, there's a swing and a miss right there that will turn into an out. So Tavares unable to get another run in. A strikeout with runners at second and third. Becomes a second out of the inning. It's 4 strikeouts now for Harden. And here comes Alex Gonzalez. Harden has only averaged 21 starts per year during the first 5 seasons of his major league career. Came up in 2003, made 13 starts that year, 31 starts in 04, made 19 starts in 05, only 9 because of injury in 06, only 4 in 07. And then last season, after starting 13 games with Oakland, he made 12 starts for the Cubs. So while his numbers when he pitches are extraordinarily good, he just doesn't pitch enough for some to take a flyer on giving him a big long-term contract when he becomes a free agent.
Well, he's tough to keep on the field from a health standpoint. And that's the whole thing about Harden. Even when they do get him on the field, they've got to be very careful about how many pitches he throws in a ball game. A lot of times when he runs his pitch count up, he's become a 6-inning pitcher, which in today's game is not all that unusual. But definitely not the same pitcher the Reds saw in Chicago. He had great control that day, threw the fastball wherever he wanted it, and even he, in a post-game interview that I listened to with him, Tom, admitted that it was one of those rare times when he had good control of all his pitches. That doesn't happen very much to a starter. Usually you're battling with one or the other, and you have one working, and you're trying to make the other 2 get in there. Tonight he's struggling, it seems like, with all 3.
Well, now a big chance for the Reds to open up some serious daylight. Bases loaded for Joey Votto with 2 men out. Well, he wanted that one. First pitch fastball that he fouls away. Votto struck out, ending the first inning. Votto perfect with the bases loaded this season, 3 for 3. 2 of those hits doubles, and he's knocked in 6 in the 3 at bats. A ball and a strike. Well, they showed Albert Pujols' numbers last night. I was reading those. With the bases loaded this season, Pujols is 7 for 9 and has hit 5 grand slams this season.
That is incredible.
They broke it down by the pitch. He's 5 for 7 on fastballs, 1 for 1 on curveballs, and 1 for 1 on changeups with 5 slams.
Sounds like you better invent a new pitch.
You better believe that. Strike 2.
Well, he blew a fastball right by Joey Votto on a 1-2 count his first time up. Identical count to what he's got right now.
Struck him out to end the inning. Reds get 3, lead 3. And Jay Bruce will join us from the Reds dugout in the 3rd inning. Reds in front 3-0. Of Cincinnati will win that Toyota Tundra. Register for your chance to win during an upcoming game at your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. As advertised, kind enough to join us from down in the Reds dugout, right fielder Jay Bruce. Jay, wouldn't it be cool to win a fan that Toyota Tundra by hitting that thing one night? You can get out there.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I don't know if anybody's going to hit the Tundra.
Yeah.
The one below the Tundra, but Joey actually hit it over that sign the other night, so it's definitely doable for some people at least.
Well, yeah, I know that you can do it. You got to win that for somebody. How are you coming along with a broken wrist?
As well as I can be. Today I got my hard cast taken off and I have the soft cast on now, a removable splint, and I'm just starting my rehab and just trying to get back as quickly as possible. Really.
Been tough to watch games.
Yes, I've never been really hurt on the baseball field. And, it's tough to be sitting in the dugout and, not be able to go out and try to help my team win.
Cubs come to bat here in the top of the 3rd inning with the Reds in front 3-0. Justin Lear off to a good start tonight. He's not allowed a hit. He's walked a batter, struck out a couple, and he'll face Coy Hill, Rich Harden, and Kosuke Fukudome in the Chicago 3rd.
Jay, you've seen Justin Lear a little bit before. Give us your scatter report on him.
He's a pitcher, he's a real pitcher. He actually, he's been around a long time. He nibbles, he kind of feeds off guys' aggressiveness. And Sorry, Joey just won't leave me alone right now.
We were just getting ready to point that out, that he was giving you a hard time when he noticed that you were putting the headset on. Were you trying to do that sort of incognito down near the end over there?
A little bit. They have this is where they have this. But anyway, back to Lear. He, he's a veteran. He's a, he nibbles. He stays off the plate. He doesn't give in, and he knows what he's doing.
Now, if you're a left-handed hitter and you're going up there like Coy Hill right now, and you're going to face Justin Lear, what are you looking for?
I'm not necessarily looking for a pitch, any pitch in particular. I'm just trying to stay up the middle really and try to, use left center as much as I can. I think that when you get in trouble against these kind of guys when you start trying to pull the ball.
That sounds like your philosophy overall of what Brooks Jacoby and you've been working on is trying to use that other way. And when it clicks, it feels good, doesn't it?
It does. It absolutely does. I think that, anytime you stay, middle of the field, you're going to be successful more than you want to.
Jay, when you came up last year, and everybody knows, you set the world on fire. I mean, you had people in the stadium that were chanting your name, even when you were still 2 innings away from getting another at bat. You look back on the end of last season, the start of this year, and before you got injured, what are the 1 or 2 things that perhaps you've learned about being a big league ball player, an everyday ball player this season?
I think one of the big things that I've learned is it's a grind mentally. I think now it's more mental than physical. You have to stick with an approach. You have to have an approach, and you can't really go away from it because these guys have a plan too. These guys have a plan too.
Oh, jeez! Look at this. Who was that?
Who do you think? Chris Dickerson.
Well, he owes everybody one, I think, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't owe anybody anything. No.
All the guys on the disabled list have extra time on their hands, don't they?
He's got too much time on his hands, no matter what.
All right, so you're talking about it being a grind. Oh, my goodness. I mean, you can't catch a break down there.
No, I can't. Yeah, it's definitely a grind. I think, you have to stick with the approach. You have to realize it's a marathon, not a sprint. And, really, it's about focus day in, day out. And that's something I'm really trying to get better at.
Jay, you've got a chance now in the dugout on the DL to watch hitters from a different perspective. I mean, usually you're standing out in right field watching the opposition. Now you get to watch them kind of up close. Are there certain hitters that have impressed you in their approach that you'd like to emulate?
I think it's the guys that everyone, watches and loves, likes to watch hit. Obviously, I watch Joey a lot, and, he
3-0. And again, we very much thank Jay Bruce for taking the time to join us down there. Obviously, his teammates like him a lot. You don't see that done to players. I'm not suggesting that if it doesn't happen. I mean, if the Reds were losing the game, Chris, you pointed that out in between innings, you wouldn't see that stuff going on. But I think it's safe to say that he is certainly one of the more popular players on this Reds team. He's got a youthful innocence about him, and he's only 23 years old. And a very, very likable young man. There's a swing and a foul ball back out of play.
Tom, in the major leagues, when you're going good, it's easy. It's easy to come back out to the ballpark. It's easy to play. It's easy to earn the adulation of the fans. But when you're struggling or when you're hurt, you really take a little bite of humble pie. And this is one of those times where, Jay Bruce is able to step back and kind of reevaluate where he really is and remind himself that he is only 23 years old and he is just a young player still learning so much about the game. And the way that he has been used by the Reds in the lineup by Dusty Baker, they haven't coddled him. They haven't sat him against tough left-handed pitchers. He's been in there against guys like Johan Santana and every other tough lefty in the league. He's been an everyday player, and that's the only way you're going to get this guy to figure it all out. A little by little, we hope that he's getting it.
And I owe Jay an apology. He turned 22 this year, not 23. The first week of the season on April the 3rd. He was born in 1987 down in Beaumont, Texas. You ever been to Beaumont, Texas?
Right outside of Houston, isn't it?
I have no idea. Yeah. Is that where it is?
I think I have. I think there's a golf course down there we've been to.
I think Jay's telling him all about what Chris Dickerson did to him. And then Phillips is drilled on the left arm by a 95-mile-per-hour fastball. You know that hurts.
Brandon Phillips taking a very long time to go down to first base. This ball was thrown in such a spot there's no way a hitter can get out of the way. It was actually slightly behind him when it leaves the hand of Rich Harden. And the balls that we've seen hit Cubs in the last few nights have only been a few inches off the plate. Johnny Gooms got hit with a ball last night, only a few inches off the plate. That ball was thrown behind the hitter, and he kind of backed into it a little bit. Read into it what you want.
Now rolling to it, the 2-run home run in that 3-run second inning. It takes high, ball 1. In this series, 7 batters have been hit by pitches. Corzolani hit one last night. Guzman hit a batter last night. Johnny Cueto hit 2 Chicago Cubs.
Boy, Rich Harden is staying away from that fastball now to Scott Rowland. It was the heater that Rowland jumped on the first pitch that he saw in his first at bat for that 2-run homer.
We invite you to visit your Cincinnati area Subway restaurant and make a $5 Fielder's Choice. You select any sandwich on the everyday value menu. Choose to make it a foot long or a 6-inch fresh value meal with chips and a drink for only $5. 2-0 to Scott Rowland. Look to the fastball right down the middle. Really turned into a beautiful night, and I guess it's supposed to be a beautiful next 4 or 5 days here in the greater Cincinnati area. Of course, the Reds will be out in Northern California, and got to flip a coin when you go out there. Throw down to second, and Brandon Phillips is called safe.
He must have gone around the tag because the throw beat him by a long shot. Lou Piniella is going to come storming out of the Cubs dugout here. Take another look at it. A short lead and a bad jump for Brandon. And it looks like a quick tag by the shortstop or the second baseman out there, Mike Fontenot, got him. And Paul Emmel's out there, and Paul Emmel is right on the tag, and he made no bones about looking down and calling him safe. It was one of those quick little phantom tags by the second baseman Fontenot. Let's take another look. Did he get him?
Never tagged him.
What's wrong with laying the glove on a guy, and I mean slapping him?
Never tagged him. Can't tell from that angle. The first angle was a great angle. Didn't look like he ever touched him. That looked like a good call by the second base umpire tonight, Paul Emmel. We'll go back and look one more time. Here's a 3-2 to Rowland. Struck him out on a high fastball. All right, you be the judge. Chris, what do you think?
Safe.
It's 18 stolen bases in 25 attempts now for Brandon Phillips. So now Vladimir Valentin, who had a base hit into left field and scored a run in the 3-run second inning. I mean, has just hammered the ball. Every time he has got a chance to swing the bat. Last night and again tonight. He hit that bullet that Ramirez picked off up the line in the second. He hit the liner off the pitcher Gorzolani. There goes Phillips to third, and this time he's going to be out. Gotta wonder about that.
I got to wonder about really both the stolen bases. He was very lucky on the first one that Fontenot short-armed the tag on him. This one, he really didn't have that big of a lead at second base. Given the fact that neither the shortstop or the second baseman are anywhere near him, he was pretty close to the bag. And when you're out by that much at third base, I think he just misread everything.
Well, back to Valentin as he takes down low 2-1. He hit that rocket off Gorzolani's foot that ricocheted to the shortstop Theriot, who threw him out. He walked in the 7th inning last night, hit the 2-run home run to right center his last at bat. Then his first time up tonight, a single through the left side of the infield. You mark it down. If this pitch is anywhere close, he'll come unglued taking a swing here, 3-1. Oh, got fooled badly. 3-2.
Now that's the beauty of that split finger pitch. And how about that kind of a gutsy pitch on the part of Harden? The ball not even near it, but you know, when you're throwing in the mid-90s and the ball comes right out of the same arm angle, same release point as a previous fastball, you think it's going to be a strike.
In the air. Right center field, pretty well hit, but room in front of the wall for Brentley. Man, Chris Welsh's guy, Valentin, hitting it hard. 9 years in the big leagues. I mean,
and I would imagine somebody with the Cubs is on that list, either Derek Lee or Ramos Ramirez.
Might be both of them. I wouldn't be surprised at all if those were the other two. Trying to think, you know, you always start with teams in your division. Guys like Fielder and Braun have not been around long enough. A lot of guys from Houston have recently retired in the last few years. It probably had a number of them. Guys like, you know, Jeff Bagwell. There's a weak pop up in the left field, and Lance Nix had Aaron Miles play perfectly. So you start thinking about guys that have been in the division the longest that are home run hitters. Ramos Ramirez played for the Pirates before he went to the Cubs. Derek Lee and all the damage he's done since coming to the Cubs. Naturally, Berkman. Heck, Berkman, just based on what he's done in this park, forget about what he's done to him down in Houston.
And I imagine maybe Chipper Jones, even though he's not in the division, he has been in the league a long time.
Sure has. Fisted into right field, a one-out single for Derek Lee, and that's the first Chicago hit tonight against Justin Lear. Well, when the Reds get it done with an RBI this season, that means another $25 from Shakely goes to the Reds Community Fund. Shakely, it's done. Just saw Larry Shakely the other night. Was out having dinner over in Marymount. Pleasant guy. 1 on, 1 out. And it's taken outside, ball 1 to Ramos Ramirez. Of course, high school football will be starting up here sometime soon, Chris. I think of Marymount and Tom Crosby Mercy. How many years has he been the head football coach out there at Marymount? It's got to be 25 or 30. Another real good guy. Done a lot of good things, not only winning football games, but he's been a great mentor for so many kids that have come through that school system. 1-1 on Ramos Ramirez.
Which is really the most important thing a football coach can do. Because you know, of all the kids on that squad, they have big squads out there, that there are a couple that are probably on the cusp of maybe going the wrong way, and that football coach can grab them and kind of straighten them out during a formative year or two and set a kid straight for a long time.
I can promise you Tom Crosby has done plenty of that. 1-1 to Ramirez. Hit off the end of the bat. And Taveras is there for the second out of the inning. We have a lot of kids that work here at the ballpark. Kids that live in various neighborhoods inside of Cincinnati, playing high school football. A couple kids that work over in the elevators over by the Fox Sports Ohio Champions Club. Cameron and Quentin and 2 or 3 others. Saw them the last couple of days. Everybody around town just started those 2-a-days this week. All the high school sports were able to get started with whatever practices they're legally allowed to begin. The last couple of days. There's a base hit into center field. Lee going to make a hard turn, but stop right there. Quentin was telling me today that they went for 5 hours this morning. And he was the snake, which meant he made a mistake and all of a sudden had to run around the 100-yard field, angling, cutting back and forth, and if he didn't do it in a certain amount of time, everybody had to run. He said he made it, but he was hurting tonight.
Man, he's going to be really hurting after he has to cut your grass too, huh?
Oh no. Oh no.
Isn't that what he has to do after you mention him so much on the air?
No. These are good kids. I really like them. You've met them. You know them.
I know, yeah.
They're good kids.
They are good kids.
Check swing and a miss to Alfonso Soriano. So first bit of trouble in the game here for Justin Lear. Breezed through the front 3 without allowing a hit. He's allowed singles to Lee and Bradley here in the 4th inning. And of course, Soriano with 2 on is a tying run at the plate. Out of play. 1-2 to Soriano.
Speed him up, slow him down. That's the whole idea for Justin Lear, and that's a thing that you really try to do at Alfonso Soriano. Hit a lazy fly ball to right field his first time up, late on a fastball.
Wow. Inning over. That one just froze Soriano. 2 hits, 2 left, 3-0 Reds. Major League Baseball. What 4 have the most home runs against the Reds? I bet you we nailed this one, Chris.
I don't know if we got all 4.
I got 2 and you got 2. There you go. Oh,
We missed Andrew.
wow.
That's a surprise.
That is. That is a real surprise. Man, I haven't been here a long time thinking of that one. Andrew Jones, 31 home runs against Reds pitching. Lee 31, Albert 38. Albert will,
I think 4 of them this year for Albert.
yeah, he'll go right by Berkman eventually on that list. But you were looking up the top 5 home run hitters all time against the Reds.
And they're the all-time home run hitters. I mean, all of them in the Hall of Fame. In fact, the first 6 are in the Hall of Fame. And the number 7, who in his career hit 43 home runs against the Reds, probably ought to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's in the house tonight.
On the ground, a second baseman, no throw on Nix. Actually, he went home this morning, but you're right. Normally he would be here. Ron Santo. But name the first.
Well, the first 4 are Aaron and Mays, Ernie Banks, Willie McCovey, Roberto Clemente, Eddie Matthews, and then Ron Santo. And then more of a contemporary player, number 8, tied for 8, is Jeff Bagwell. Bagwell and Steve Garvey. But Hank Aaron, 97 home runs in 372 games against the Reds in his career.
You know, to put that in perspective, and to give you an idea how successful and how long he was so successful at Hank Aaron. Albert Pujols, who has 38, I think we saw on that list, 38. He's played what? This is 9th year in the big leagues. I mean, at that pace, of course, he's going to hit more home runs, it looks like, over the next couple of years than even he has in the last number of years. He's having his best season ever this year. I mean, that put him at 76. What was Aaron's final number, did you say?
97.
97.
And that's in about 2.5 years of play, 372 games. I mean, 2.5 full seasons, if you want to look at it like that.
Of course, there were fewer teams in baseball then. But for most of those years, only 12 teams, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you played everybody with such great frequency that you would see all those great sluggers at least 3, if not 4 times per year come into your city alone. You know, you were playing every team in baseball the way you're playing now everybody in your division. Hopper down to Lee, and Hannigan retired for the second out here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Reds leading 3-0, and everything you knew about fantasy football is about to change. Introducing the all-new Fox Fantasy Football. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN to join the next generation of fantasy football. NFL season will be cranking up this weekend with a preseason up in Canton, Ohio, the Hall of Fame inductions, and of course the regular season begins on September the 13th. So a little more than a month away from the start of the National Football League. You big an NFL guy, are you, Chris?
When the season begins.
Yes.
Preseason, it's a little harder for me to get juiced up for that.
Well, there's going to be less of it very, very soon. Because your feeling is like the commissioner of the National Football League. He does not want his product in any way, shape, or form not at the peak of its game. The preseason will be cut down, and there will be more regular season NFL games in the not too distant future. That's a commissioner that's going out and getting it done.
Yeah, you know what? I think that makes a lot of sense.
It does.
It really does.
He doesn't like the idea of charging fans what they get charged to go to preseason games and the product they get. Of course, the risk of injury in the preseason. It's there, though, in the regular season. There's no doubt about that. Long swinging is Lear, and that'll end the inning. We go to the 5th. Reds lead 3-0. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Oh my. Holy mackerel. What does his shirt say? They're spelling out, his buddies are spelling out 1908. You know, we were talking about looks that you ought to consider in the, you know, the beret, the Don Johnson look. Now, if you were to wear your tie with a shirt like that and suspenders, that would be big league.
That would be big league, wouldn't it? Don't hold your breath on that one. You know what? I'll do it if you'll do it.
Wear that right there in the air?
Yeah.
There is no chance of that happening.
Well, your NFL career would go right down the tubes, wouldn't it?
I have already very low self-esteem. The bottom would fall out if that next step were made. Whoa. 1-2 the count on Mike Fontenot. One and two to count on Fontenot. Be followed in the inning by Coy Hill and then Rich Harden. Fontenot hit a ball right on the nose his first time up. And Joey Votto made a diving play to his right on the line drive, ending the second inning. Well, here's Justin Lear, only at 53 pitches in the game. He is so far ahead of the curve from his first start as a Red here over the weekend against Colorado. There's a fly ball to right, and Ballantine backs up on it for the first out. The Waltz Business Solutions Conference Center is the perfect spot to conduct your business at Great American Ballpark. It's located on the level where we are, right behind home plate. It can be arranged to service your business and meeting needs year-round, starting 4 hours before each home game during the season. There was a group in there tonight, in fact. For more information, contact the Red Special Events Department at 765-7065. If you're thinking about doing something, you might want to take a look at that. It's part of the ballpark that overlooks the area where people come in, and lots of daylight. It's a beautiful area here at Great American Ballpark, so check it out. Here's Coy Hill. He bounced out to Votto. His only time up. Chases a pitch up in a strike zone and is quickly behind 0-2. Justin Lear just has these Cubs hitters mesmerized up there.
You know, before he was called up, I talked from time to time down to the AAA pitching coach, Teddy Power, and, you know, we talk about what Homer Bailey's been doing and what some of these other pitchers, what Matt Maloney has when he was called up. And he'd say, don't forget about this young man that we have down here. We picked him up from Lehigh Valley, the AAA franchise of the Philadelphia Phillies, and this guy makes more pitches than anybody else. And talk to anybody down the minor leagues that have seen a lot of AAA pitching this year. This guy knows how to pitch. Jay Bruce is right on it with his description. Moving the ball around, changing speeds, not overpowering. Fastball in the mid to high 80s. But he's got the Cubs baffled right now.
0-1 the count on Harden, and he lines one softly just beyond the reach of Scott Rowland. And Harden into second base with a 2-out double.
I just kind of tapped it out there, a little bit of a flare job over the head of the third baseman down the left field line. Those are all doubles.
Runner at second with 2 out, and here's Fukudome, who struck out swinging and bounced to third. 0 for 2 tonight. That's his first career extra base hit. Of course, he never got a chance, or rare, during interleague play to hit during his days with the Oakland Athletics, and hasn't done much swinging the bat since coming over last year into the National League. But a 2-out double here in the 5th. He's in scoring position. It's 2-0 on Fukudome. 2-1. Two balls and a strike to Fukudome, and there's strike 2. Perfect location, knee high.
Well, what he's done is done a great job of staying out of the middle of the strike zone. When he's made his mistakes, they've been up out of the zone and down out of the zone.
So now Lear trying to put away Fukudome.
And that's a slow curveball. That's the same pitch that he got Alfonso Soriano on. He doesn't use it very often. Comes in around 70, 71 miles an hour. Big looping curveball right there. Good tight rotation, though. Really tough for a hitter to hold back on it, and that's why Fukudome pulled that baby foul. Give him something real slow like that, maybe he can sneak a fastball by him here on a 2-2 count.
Reds lead 3-0. 2 outs. Harden at second here in the top of the 5th, and the 2-2 to Fukudome is grounded foul.
One of his go-to pitches is that split finger pitch. We've talked about it before. We've mentioned that Justin Lear is the young man down in Louisville when he spent time with Homer Bailey down there. That he worked with Bailey and essentially taught him that pitch. He doesn't want to overuse it, but we've got a little sneak preview of it in his glove from the center field camera when he begins to go to it.
That looked like the breaking ball again, and again Fukudome way out in front of it. It hooks it foul. Seven pitches thus far in this at bat. Number 8 coming up, and Lear trying to end the top of this 5th inning and maintain that 3-0 lead. But Fukudome is no easy out. Diving play by Brandon Phillips to save a hit and a run. Gold Glove winner at second last year, flashing the golden leather on that glove. Come root on the Reds as they take on the Washington Nationals after this road trip. For tickets, call 381-REDS or go to Reds.com. So the Reds will be back home on Friday, August the 14th. Following the upcoming road trip, the team will leave tomorrow, start a 3-game weekend series in San Francisco, and from there travel back to the Midwest for 3 in St. Louis. Base hit into right field by Willie Tavares starts things in the Reds' 5th inning. Cincinnati in front 3-0. Tonight's Cabot Wood Stain legendary performance go back to August the 5th, this date 1972. Willie Mays, Warren Giles, and Hack Wilson inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Of course, Warren Giles with Cincinnati ties, obviously. Hack Wilson still holds a single season major league record for most runs batted in a single season, 190 RBIs. It's pretty good.
Huh.
Nice bunt by Alex Gonzalez. And Hill throws to the covering Fontenot to get the out and give Alex a sacrifice. 1 away.
Now that's really the only way you're going to get a man to second base other than a stolen base against Rich Harden, because a hit and run against a guy that has a pitch that you swing and miss on so often is not usually a good bet.
Of course, Harden in 2 at-bats has had his way with Joey Votto. He has struck him out swinging twice.
Yeah, but even so, you still play the odds. You get another runner into scoring position with a base hit here. You're probably scoring. Votto struggled last night against the starter Tom Gorzolani. Really blew him away. Was happy to see him out of there. Finally got a base hit, but it was against one of the relievers.
And Joey's having his first, I guess, mini slump. I mean, guys hitting 330s, hitting 330, but of course Votto is hitting up over 350 when his homestand began. You see what he's done. He does have 2 home runs and 4 batted in, but a 192 batting average. Of course, the Reds have seen pretty doggone good pitching in this series, or this homestand. Now, San Diego may not be having a very good year, but I think, Chris, you would agree. That Matt Latos. Well, you weren't here that.
I did not see that series. No.
What? Wow. I mean, he's as good looking a young pitcher as we've seen in quite a while. Very impressive. Swung on and fouled out play. It's a young man who went 7 innings, allowed 1 hit, a home run to Jerry Hairston Jr. I didn't even realize it until now. That was the final hit that Jerry Hairston Jr. had as a Red. A home run. Swing and a miss. And that is 3 times Harden has really worked over Votto. 8 strikeouts in the game now for Harden.
As we mentioned earlier, no embarrassment striking out against this stuff. That's one of those little splitters, I think. May have been a slider. Really hard to tell. He's a Chargers nightmare, Rich Harden is, because you can sit on the sidelines in the dugout right over there, and the next night's pitcher always has the chart, and you don't know whether Harden's throwing a splitter, a slider, a hard sinker. It all just moves all over the place.
So now Brandon Phillips. And I correct myself. Jerry Hairston's last hit as a Red was a single. His last extra base hit, a homer. Brandon Phillips looks at strike 1. Jerry's playing well for the Yankees. Done a good job there in less than a week since joining that team.
I would expect so. He did a good job here.
Sure did. Oh, and 1 the count. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Yankees trail tonight in the bottom of the 5th inning at Toronto, 3-2. They beat Roy Halladay last night and picked up a game on Boston. Of course, the Red Sox lost in extra innings last night on a home run in Tampa We're in St. Pete against Tampa by Evan Longoria. 0-2 to Brandon Phillips. Struck him out on 3 pitches. 9 strikeouts in the game for Hart. We go to the 6th where the Reds lead 3-0. Visit myCincinnatiHondaDealer.com for current offers. Cubs back in the 6th inning. Been a real good night for Justin Lear. All right, let's talk about the wild card presented by Honda in the National League. It is going to be fun to watch. There's no debate about that. The Giants won earlier today. Colorado is getting hammered tonight in Philadelphia. So they should be even by night's end. St. Louis already lost. They'll stay a game back. And the Florida Marlins, I believe, are off tonight. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're playing in D.C. They're trailing 5-2 in the 6th inning. Philadelphia beating Colorado 7-0. A game in the bottom of the 6th in Philly. The Cubs are on their way to Denver after the game tonight.
They, like the Reds, will have an off day on Thursday before a weekend series.
What always brings back to mind when Colorado started playing in 1993. Of course, they played their first couple of years at Mile High Stadium, the home of the Denver Broncos. And I was broadcasting the Cubs at the time. We went in there over 4th of July weekend. The 4-game series drew over 285,000 people for the 4 games. I've never seen, and nor will I ever see anything like it again. They had 4 consecutive days of over 72,000 fans. It was unbelievable. That might be a 4-game series all-time Major League record. Well, I don't know. Remember when they
played in the Coliseum?
Yeah, the Coliseum. Might not be. In there, strike. Lee in the game struck out his first time up. He singled to right field in the 4th inning. Cubs with 3 hits, the Reds with 4 hits, but the Reds lead in the only category that matters at the end of the day, the runs category. There's a jam shot pop up, 2 gone in the inning. This is back in old Mile High Stadium. This was the first ever game in franchise history. It's Charlie Huff on the mound.
That is Charlie Huff. It sure is.
Playing the old Montreal Expos. And then Eric Young got the first hit in Rockies history. Kent Bottenfield on the mound for the old Montreal Expos, and the first hit was a home run by Eric Young.
Boy, the ball used to jump that place. I mean, really jump. It was so short down the left field line. Of course, the Reds had their AAA franchise there one year, the Denver Zephyrs. That's where Paul O'Neill played, and Barry Larkin, Kurt Stillwell.
Well, I got to give it up to Matt Sigafus, who, of course, is with us each and every game during the season. I mean, how in the world he has all of a sudden footage of the Colorado Rockies playing at Mile High Stadium, literally seconds.
And you didn't,
after I randomly bring it up.
You didn't rehearse this at dinner or anything like that.
I just, when you just said Denver, that the Cubs would be there, that's what made me think of it. Was going there in '93. A liner right at Phillips, and the inning is over. How about Justin Lear? 6 innings of 3 hits, shutout baseball.
Paul Emil on that. Because it would be so easy for him to just pump Brandon Phillips out, send him on back. Dusty Baker wouldn't have argued that call because you probably couldn't see it from the dugout.
Right.
He was out by 9 miles if you lay the tag on him. But he was on it. He called it the way it should have been called. You've got to hand it to him.
The Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Foss Brewed Coors Light. Scotty Rowland got his first hit as a Red in the second inning, a 2-run home run to give him a 2-0 lead.
And he hasn't seen a fastball for a strike since. Hey, Reds fans, for a great tasting meal and an unbeatable value, pick up delicious JTM Philly kits, burgers, or delicious hoagies at your favorite grocer. JTM, food, family, fun.
There's a 4-pitch walk to Rowland to begin the 6th inning. Gotta wonder how long they're going to stay with Harden. I mean, we recall that Chris, you and I were in shock when he pitched against the Reds a week and a half ago. and allowed 1 hit through 6 innings, and they took him out of the game.
Well, you know, Lou Piniella knows this ahead of time, that he's really a 6-inning pitcher, maybe, as long as he's got low pitch counts. They really take care of this guy, and they know that when he pitches, you've got to cover at least 2 or 3 innings every time with the bullpen. I mean, the most he's gone this season in the ball game is, I believe, 7 innings.
Tell you, the one guy who's really becoming a workhorse of this Cub rotation is a guy we saw in the opening game of this series, Randy Wells.
Well, you know, Randy Wells on top of Jason Marquis the day before and Aaron Cook 2 days before that are 3 of the same pitchers in a row that the Reds saw. 3 right-handed sinker ball pitchers that throw between 88 and 92 and just kept the ball down. And they were all very successful in this ballpark against this Reds team.
Valentine down the line. That's in fair territory. Bradley makes a catch for out number 1.
7 innings is indeed the longest that Rich Harden has gone this year. The most pitches he has thrown in a ball game this year, 116. That was in a 7-inning effort of 1 run against the Philadelphia Phillies in Philadelphia 2 starts ago.
Cubs have activity in that bullpen. The right-hander Jeff Samardzija getting loose. Man, that guy was a stud wide receiver. Was played at Notre Dame. Was a favorite target of Brady Quinn. I can't believe that guy picked baseball. That guy was a stud.
What do you mean you can't believe he picked baseball?
Because of where he was drafted as opposed to where he would have been drafted in the NFL. Because of the amount of time it's taken him to get here. He'd have been in his fourth year already in the NFL. Now granted, I'm not saying that because I like football better than baseball. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when this guy came out of college, he was unquestionably a better college football player than he was a college baseball player. And he was unquestionably ready from day 1 to be a very good professional at the highest level football player than he was as a baseball player. That's why I say I'm surprised.
Got to follow your love.
Absolutely. I can't speak to that about the guy. I'm just saying that as a football player, he was something else at the highest level. That's where Notre Dame was good. Here's ball 4 to Nick.
Now Harden will get a trip out to the mound by the pitching coach Larry Rothschild. Maybe to settle him down, maybe to give Samardzija a little bit of more time down the bullpen to get loose. Of course, you got Ryan Hannigan, the number 8 hitter, then the pitcher spot coming up with 1 out now. Boy, Larry Rothschild's been around a long time. Made a nice mark for himself as a pitching coach. Once, of course, the pitching coach right here in Cincinnati for Tony Perez. Used to do battle against Larry Rothschild when he towed the rubber for the Florida State Seminoles.
Really?
Back in the day. A little sinker slider pitcher.
Ryan Hannigan with 2 on, a chance to drive in a run. We'll see what he gets to hit in this at bat. With the pitcher due up next, but there is only 1 out in the inning, and there's strike 1, an off-speed pitch on the first pitch of the at bat.
Now, we talk a lot about Ryan Hannigan and his on-base percentage and how good he has been in that department. One area where he has been especially deficient is in driving runs in.
Foul out of play.
Only 8 runs batted in so far this season for Ryan Hanigan. 181 at bats.
I don't think he's knocked in a run since the middle of June.
In fact, if you had his numbers up with the leadoff hitter Willie Taveras, as far as plate appearances and runs batted in, between the two of them, they have 22 runs batted in.
Have to hurry to turn a double play here, and they're not going to turn. Good, clean, hard slide on the weakly hit ball. Lance Nix going in hard to Fontenot, and they're on the corners with 2 away. Now Harden will face Lear.
Now sometimes it's better when you don't hit the ball hard, and this is one of those cases. It goes to the shortstop, an easy 6-4-3, but just doesn't get the miles quick enough. Boy, you had to figure that Mike Fontenot heard footsteps of that guy coming on him.
The last run batted in for Ryan Hanigan was June the 13th when the Reds played at Kansas City. But again, to be fair, and really to be fair for everybody up and down the lineup, I mean, how many chances, whether you're the 8-hitter or for that matter even the 3-hole hitter, are you coming up there with anybody on?
Yeah, but you remember when you're the 8-hitter, you're getting pitched around so often. And even in RBI situations, if it's early in the ball game, you're being pitched around a lot because the pitcher's coming up next and he's never going to be pitch hit for. Late in the game, different story. We really don't know how many RBI chances he's had late in the ball game with a pinch hitter on deck. Justin Lear, you would think, would be a pretty decent hitter up there. When he transferred from University of California, Santa Barbara to USC for his senior year, he played first base and hit .297.
Harden will throw him out, and that'll end the inning. So after a couple of walks, Harden wiggles off the hook. We go to the 7th where the Reds lead the Cubs 3-0. A 2-run home run. His first hit as a Red. It came in the second inning to give him a 2-0 lead after the Reds put 2 on later in the same inning. Justin Lear put down a bunt. Rich Harden threw it down the third baseline, allowing Vladimir Valentin to score. The Reds loaded the bases later in the inning. Harden able to get out of further trouble by striking out Votto. He's been piling up the strikeouts ever since. He has 9 of them through the front 5 innings. But Justin Lear, the story tonight, making his second start as a Red. And he is working on 6 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball. He has struck out 4, has walked 1, and has a 3-0 lead as he takes the ball from Scott Rowland to begin this top of the 7th inning. All you sports fans, is Sunday following Reds Live. Stay tuned to Fox Sports Ohio. Catch all the action from the Pro Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival. The Timken Grand Parade from Canton, Ohio. A one-of-a-kind celebration. There's a roller down to third. And Rowland throws out Bradley. One gone to begin the 7th.
Boy, he is really mixing his pitches up nice as Justin Lear. Got a first pitch sinking fastball, kind of a dead fish at 82 miles an hour on the outside corner. Then a big slow curveball that Milton Bradley, who had given him problems in his first 2 at bats, reached base both times, just couldn't wait on. This is the Justin Lear that Teddy Power and Rick Sweet saw on a regular basis down in Louisville. Throwing the ball just like this.
Ball foul out of play. Strike 1 to Alfonso Soriano. The Reds have a right-hander and a left-hander getting loose in the bullpen. The left-hander you're familiar with, Daniel Ray Herrera. The right-hander, a bit of a surprise getting loose here in a 3-0 game. Still waiting to make his Reds debut is Kip Wells. He was brought up Friday from Louisville and is yet to pitch. Of course, he could be getting a little work in, you think, Chris?
I think so. I would imagine, as rare as wins are for the Reds, Dusty Baker, as you get down to the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, he's going to go with his normal formula. Unless there's an injury we don't know about. Which would include Rhodes, Weathers, and Cordero.
Ball deflected by the pitcher Lear. Good effort by Gonzalez, but Soriano able to leg it out for an infield hit. That's what I mean, the difference between going good and going bad. We saw the Reds have this happen twice in the game last night, where they had bullets ricochet off the pitcher and went right to the middle infielders who got outs. When you've lost 8 in a row, that ball ricochets to somebody and you don't get it.
I remember also who's running down the lines. Alfonso Soriano has stolen as many as 43 bases in a particular year. They're down a little bit this year and last. Got him! Hello, hello. Now, we talked about his pickoff move in his first start. And he had plenty of chances to throw over because in that ball game he walked 6.
Well, I tell you what, Soriano, you talk to people who watch the Cubs play on a regular basis, and certainly you just go spend a weekend series there unless he's hitting home runs. I mean, the fan base has really let him have it. You know, you look at a game last night, not saying it's an easy play, but the ball out there in left field that was scored a triple last night, it hit him in a glove.
Should have been caught.
You look at the play where he didn't score when the ball went by Willie Taveras in center field on that 2-run single last night. A play like that where you get picked off, and he's heard it from a lot of the fans. He's done a lot of good things here. They've won back-to-back divisional championships, but this year the numbers way off. Foul foul territory. The inning is over. So a hit, nobody left. Lear's 7 shutout innings. Time for the 7th inning stretch presented by Cincinnati. On August the 16th, you can support the Reds Community Fund, have a chance to meet the team and get a team signed ball, bat, or jersey. For more information, for Signature Sunday, visit reds.com/community or call 765-7234. I brought up Jeff Samardzij's name earlier. He comes on to replace Harden. Rich Harden goes 6 innings tonight. He walked 4, struck out 9. You see the numbers on Samardzij. They had high hopes for him when the season began. They still have high hopes for his future. But things have not gone well for him so far. Bouncing ball to short. And it's an infield hit. Hustling all the way, Willie Taveras. He can run.
Well, with Willie Taveras up as a shortstop, you've got to sneak in a little bit, because even a ball hit like this, which is fairly sharply, he's going to be busting it down the line. He's kind of running out of the batter's box on that anyway. Never looks back, and he simply beats it. Derek Lee tried to pull his foot to try to convince the umpire that they had him with a quick release down there, but no going. So good hustle by Taveras, and he reaches for the first time in 3 at-bats.
Runner going, and it's thrown into center field. So not fooling around at all is Willie Taveras. That's stolen base number 22 of the year.
Well, they got the book on the pitchers, and Samardzij never looked at him, and Willie Taveras had a huge lead at first base. Samardzij, big guy, young pitcher, 6 feet 5 inches tall, and a nice deliberate motion towards home. And that gives Willie Taveras a chance to get out of the starting gates and be halfway to second base. Well, the Cubs are lucky that Miles deflected that a little bit. Actually, it was Taveras that got it off his left forearm, or else he's on third base.
Taveras is going to take third. He had drifted into no man's land. But Coy Hill thought he was going back to second, through down that way, and give Taveras a stolen base of third.
Now, not everybody can do this, but if you've got the speed of Willie Taveras, you're going to take a shot right there. That catcher's going to come up throwing, thinking you're going back to the bag, and you're going to be able to waltz into third base. The Cubs defense not looking real good right now. You know, Tom, looking back on that infield hit by Willie Taveras, remember that last night Ryan Theriot got hit on the elbow with a pitch. And Miles is a nice infielder, but I'm not sure he's got the arm to play shortstop, at least not very often. And he got exposed on that infield hit by Taveras right there, and that's the reason why Taveras is on base.
Thomas hammered that ball off his foot. The Cubs have the infield in, trailing 3-0 here in the seventh.
I remember that Miles, to his defense a little bit, just came off the disabled list with a sore elbow himself.
Marja looking in for the sign. Runner at third, infield in. 2-2 to Gonzalez. And a duck underneath that one. Samardzija all over the place.
Well, he's really leaking on his front side. There's a little splitter right there. He's trying for a strikeout on a 2-2 pitch. Splits his fingers apart. That ball just slips right out of there. But if you watch his front side, his left side, it is just flying open big time.
Short center field. Catch is made. Runner comes. Here comes a throw and the slide. And that's an RBI for Alex Gonzalez. And that's how speed can affect a game. We have not seen Willie Taveras do a lot of that this year, but he certainly just ran the Reds into a run in this seventh inning. Steals second, steals third, scores on a short fly ball.
I'll tell you, Coy Hill did not give him a whole lot of that plate either. That was a good slide by Willie Taveras to kind of slide around the catcher and then slap the home plate with his left hand. Coy Hill knows this is going to be a close play. Fukudome gets rid of it. It's right on line, and he's giving him just the back end of that plate. And the only way he's going to get to it is with his left hand.
Down to Derek Lee, and that's out number 2 here in the Reds' seventh inning. That Mega $1 Million jackpot last night, it was $84,102 million. And oh hi ho. Phillips, first pitch swinging, fly ball to center. Reds add a run off Samardzija, and at the end of 7, lead 4-0. Attention assist to the game. Soriano picked off in the top of the 7th inning.
That would be a case of non-attention on the part of Alfonso Soriano, who hadn't really gotten to his leadoff spot when Justin Lear fired at the first base to nail him.
What an outstanding game it has been for Justin Lear. Sam Fuld going to come up and bat for Coy Hill, leading off the Chicago 8th inning. Of course, we'll have a pinch hitter again after Fuld. Jake Fox standing there in the on deck circle. Into left field, playable for Lance Nix, 1 away. Well, coming your way this Saturday, the Boston Red Sox head to the Bronx to take on the New York Yankees. Top 2 teams again in the American League East. Fox Saturday Baseball this week, 4 p.m. Eastern. Jake Fox looks at a strike. Oh, and 2 to Jake Fox. Just off the outside corner.
Boy, he is putting on a clinic tonight.
The last major league win for Justin Lear, you have to go back to May the 18th, 2006. When he beat the Philadelphia Phillies. This should be the second out of the inning. That's only his 94th pitch of the game. Now he's got a legitimate chance to finish this thing tonight. Now with a 4-run lead. He was pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers on that May the 18th, 2006. This kind of guy, Chris, and I mean, you've seen a million of them. A guy that, came up, did not have a lot of success at the big league level, pitching exclusively out of the bullpen, almost exclusively out of the bullpen, I should say. And you go back down to the minor leagues, you work your way back up. But if you don't throw the ball 95 miles an hour, they're more than likely, any organization, not just the Reds, they're more than likely to maybe bring this guy up or bring that guy up or bring a third guy up before you get your chance. And here he is. Clearly, you talked about his experience, a lot of savvy out there on the mound. He's not afraid, quick worker. Tonight, throwing like he did in the minor leagues, meaning throwing a lot of strikes after being unquestionably nervous his first big league start in years on Friday against Colorado.
Well, they call guys like that down in the minor leagues and the upper minor leagues magicians, and that's his nickname down there. And the reason being is, how do you do it? I mean, your stuff isn't that good. You send Justin Lear out to a tryout camp with a whole bunch of top-round draft picks, you'd overlook this kid. And you say, forget it. You'll never pitch in the big leagues. We got 4 or 5 guys over here that throw 95 miles an hour. And for every chance he gets, that 95-mile-an-hour thrower is going to get 10 chances. He had to go back down to the minor leagues, reinvent himself, and learn how to pitch. Learn what he can do, what he cannot do. just goes to show you that the hitters in the major leagues and at every other level, they don't hit the radar gun. They hit what you throw them. And the whole idea is be deceptive and hit your spots. Give them a chance to get themselves out.
His 101st pitch of the night is fouled out of play just in case. Weathers and Rhodes are getting ready. But you know this guy's raced right by the 100 pitch mark many nights this season pitching for Louisville. Hardest thrown pitch he's had tonight, 87 miles per hour. But he's thrown 66 strikes and just 35 balls all night.
Topping out at 87 miles an hour.
Line into center. This is going to do it in the 8th. Does he get a chance to finish the game tonight? He leads 4-0. Inning. Got a couple of new position players in the game. Starting behind the plate, Jake Fox takes over for Boy Hill. Lord knows he needs a breather. Well, here's Kevin Gregg, who blew back-to-back save chances on Saturday and Sunday before this series began down in Florida. He'll face Scott Rowland to begin the 8th inning. First time we've seen Mr. Gregg in this series. It was an ugly weekend for Kevin Gregg against his former team, the Florida Marlins.
And you wonder if the mental part of that got into him a little bit down there, Tom, because he came off of July in which he was perfect. 8 for 8 in saves and save opportunities, and his lowest earned run average of the season in July.
Two to Rowland. Popped up in the infield. Fontenot's got it, one away. help select the next Reds Hall of Famer now through September the 2nd. Be a part of the 2010 Reds Hall of Fame fan vote, sponsored by CincinnatiFavorites.com. Pick up a ballot here at the ballpark at a participating Skyline Chili, or you can log on to Reds.com/HOF and vote today. Many were the candidates among the modern player voting, which you, the fan, can do right now. So, Chris, you all geared up? I mean, you ready to go to San Francisco? You all packed up for the trip and everything?
Actually, I'm not.
All right. Well, you probably don't leave till later tomorrow, right?
I probably have to just go back and throw a few things in the suitcase. And I mean, all I need really coats and ties and a couple of pairs of trousers, and you're all set.
Now, you know, a lot of fans ask me all the time. I know they ask you. And, you know, they'll ask you, I mean, are you jumping ahead of time to take a look at the weather in San Francisco? Because, you know, as Mark Twain once said, the coldest winter I ever spent was the summer in San Francisco. There's a rocket off the bat of Valentine, but Ramirez makes a play 2 away. So, I mean, before you pack the bag, will you take a look on the internet to see what the weather's going to be like over the weekend? You know it'll be warm in St. Louis on the back end of the trip.
70s and 50s.
So you've already looked.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming that's what it is. It's been going out there long enough. I have to probably figure this time of year that's probably what it is.
Okay. So you'll bring a jacket with you or something like that?
Bring a jacket, maybe a
pullover,
light pullover of some kind.
Okay.
It's not like the Giants are playing out of the candlestick anymore.
No.
That's a whole different environment. It's like going to Antarctica in July.
Old foul. So, and then fans I know ask you, they'll say, so what do you do, Chris? You jump in a car, you rent a car, do you drive up to Napa, drink wine all day, then come back and get ready for the game? Or, what do you do?
Usually just take wine to the ballpark with me.
It's a way to do it. Just drink right on through.
I learned from you the best. Actually, that was a George Grant trick. And I'm kidding. I am really kidding.
I'm going to be watching you very closely out there.
Somebody has to.
Will Lear get a check out MLB.tv. Log on to the internet and watch every out-of-market Reds game live. For more details, visit Reds.com, where baseball is always on. Well, there's the answer to your question. Will Jason Lear get a chance to finish things up tonight? And the answer is yes, he'll get that chance to start it and finish it. Ryan Theriot going to bat for Aaron Miles. He's got to go right through the heart of the order, does Lear. Theriot, Lee, and then Ramirez in the Chicago ninth inning. Reds lead 4-0. Lear has spun a 4-hitter against this Cub team tonight.
Well, he had 2 complete games down in the minor leagues. One for Lehigh Valley, one for Louisville. I don't know if either of those was a 7-inning game, part of a doubleheader. But he's been in control all night. And this is where you get tempted, Tom, as a pitcher who, you know, you're trying to finish it out. You're trying to get that complete game, and the biggest temptation is try to rush through the 9th inning to try to get out of the same pace that got you there. And sometimes it's good to take a breath after each pitch and be ready when you get back up on the hill.
One of those complete games was 7. The other one was 9. The one for Louisville was the 9-inning complete game. That's been a while. That was back on June the 13th in Columbus, Ohio,
Against the Indians,
where he 3-hit Columbus that night. Served out of play, first base side. Next pitch will be the 107th pitch of the game for Justin Lear, who on Friday made his first major league appearance in over 2 years. And ironically enough, the last major league appearance he made, May the 22nd, 06, was for Milwaukee here in Cincinnati. And that game last week was his first major league start. And here he is in his second big league start, trying to throw a complete game shutout against the first place team in the National League Central Division. Broken back. Chris mentioned earlier, Lear just turned 32 years old 2 days ago. He waited a long time to get to the major leagues after being drafted and signed by the Athletics, as Chris mentioned, in 1999. Didn't make the big league club until 04. Hard to believe he doesn't get that call. 3-2 Ontario.
and not because he's working on a shutout with a 4-run lead, because it looked like it was at the hollow of the knees.
So now 3-2 to Ryan Theriot, leading off the ninth. This guy's going to make you work.
Well, he had a very good year down in AAA. 3 times Justin Lear was named the International Player of the Week this season.
Been a 9-pitch at bat here for Ryan Theriot.
He's still wearing that sleeve on his right arm, where he got hit last night.
In the air, well hit, deep left center field. Tavares will get there. 1 away. You always wonder what's going through the mind of a guy like Lear. I mean, when his season began, here's a guy 31 years old. He knows when the season begins that 3/4 of the way through the year he's going to turn 32, and he's starting the season in the minor leagues. And if somebody would have said to Lear then, pitching in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, you're going to throw a complete game shutout against the Chicago Cubs this year, I mean, even in the back of his mind, he would have to wonder if that would ever be reality.
Well, he actually, from what I understand, had to ask for his release from the Philadelphia Phillies because they had no plans to bring him up. And he really no plans to do anything with him, and they needed pitching. And Rick Sweet, he had an experience with Rick Sweet because he pitched with the Louisville Bats in the past. The Reds got him back. The first time the Reds had him, they sold his contract to Korea. Sent him overseas. Talk about a crooked road to the big leagues.
You're not lying. But here he is. Ahead of Derek Lee, 1-2 with 1 out in the ninth. And this will be out number 2. 1 hopper to Gonzalez. This is what makes really baseball such a great game. I mean, let's face it, professional basketball, professional football, they don't have a minor league system where a guy can continue to chase a dream like Justin Lear at 32 years old. It just doesn't happen. And now the 22,098 that came here tonight. Many of them, of course, Cub fans, but those that root on the Redlegs are hoping Lear can get this final out. And this is going to do it. Justin Lear has won in the big leagues for the first time since May 18th, 2006. A complete game 4-hit shutout for 32-year-old right-hander Justin Lear. How about that?